Hello everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about an award that we offer as an extracurricular programme in Year 9. It's the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme, also known as the DofE. So this short presentation will tell you hopefully as much as you need to know, but you can always look on the website or the Firefly pages at the end that will show you the end if you need some more information. Can I just say a little bit first of all about the payment that's required? It's not something we can offer for free, unfortunately. There are 3 instalments due. The first payment of £100 is due by the middle of November, and once that's been received, then we set up your what's called your eDofE account. The bulk of the money that's paid is actually for the expedition section that I'll tell you a little bit more about later on. So what is the DofE? Well, it is an award that consists of 4 sections: volunteering, which is giving back to the community or individuals; a physical section where you aim to improve in an area of sport or dance or an individual fitness activity; you improve a skill, whether that's a practical or a social skill or something that's a personal interest or a hobby; and the section that probably most people think of when they think about the DofE award, the expedition, where you plan, train for and then complete an adventurous journey, and that's in the Peak District, and it's 2 days, 1 overnight stay in a tent. And at bronze level, so there are 3 levels: bronze, silver and gold, but at bronze level you volunteer and do your physical and your skills for 3 months for 2 of those sections, and the third one you do for 6 months. And then the expedition is for an overnight 2-day 1-night expedition with some training beforehand as well, so that you know what you're doing once you're out on the expedition. So volunteering, a little bit about that. This is probably quite a challenging section actually for Year 9s to find, because you are not yet, a lot of you are turning 14. It's quite difficult. The idea is that you inspire young people to make a difference with your community or an individual, and you give service back to others. So some ideas: so for example, community action, raising awareness, coaching, teaching, leadership. So for example, if you are a member of a sports club, it might be that you volunteer to help out perhaps with a younger group in that club, or you help out with a school club, or you help out perhaps at, say for example, if you're an explorer, it might be that you help out with the cub unit in that group. You can work with the environment or with animals. Some people help out at animal rescue centres, helping a charity, or a community organisation. And there are lots of ideas to help you. So there's a website, one of our website sections has some information on this, but other ideas: supporting an elderly or vulnerable family member or a neighbour, maybe walking their dog or weeding their garden. You might want to come up with your own 13-week programme to raise money for a particular charity. It might be linked with your house or your farm charity, or something that you'd like to consider yourself, maybe in a small group. Or it could be things in the local community, like the park run. We have lots of activities happening in the Wilmslow area, things like the Rock Cafe after school, some of the other Wilmslow town activities and so on, litter picking, lots of ideas, and they are all gathered together for you on a Firefly page if you need some extra help with that or some ideas. The physical section, that's to encourage you to become physically fitter and develop a healthy lifestyle through taking part in physical activity. Now that could be anything that requires a sustained level of physical energy, but it does not include anything that you do in your PE lessons. They do not count because that's part of your school work. But any after school activity that you might do does count. So if you play badminton after school at school, or you're a member of the football team or the netball team, then that after school commitment would count. It might also be that you're a member of a club outside of school. But it also includes things like individual sports, things like swimming, tennis that you might play, dance, fitness, going to the gym, for example, martial arts, extreme sports. There are many examples, many types of physical activity that you can take part in. Walking, improving your stamina, that kind of thing. So again, lots of ideas on the website for you to consider, and you can always ask for some ideas if you still need them. And then the third section is skill. That's to develop either a practical or social skill, maybe something to do with one of your personal interests. Lots of things here. A very popular option at Wilmslow High School is cooking or baking. That's very popular. So students would maybe cook a meal for their family once a week for 13 weeks. It doesn't have to be every single week, as long as it adds up to 13 weeks in total. That's lucky for your family as well, and a good life skill for you. But there's lots and lots of other things there: drama, creative arts, science, looking after animals. If you have an animal yourself and you're taking care of that, you're training your dog or you're taking care of a horse or whatever, then those kind of things would all count. Lots and lots of ideas again on the Firefly page to help you with your ideas there. How do you record what you're doing then for those activities? Well, if you decide that you would like to do the DofE award, you will be given what's called an eDofE online account. You sign into that, and that's where you write details of what you're going to do for your volunteering, physical and skill sections. Somebody in school will approve that. They will say, yes, that's okay. Then off you go. You can be carrying on with those activities. You can add some evidence if you wish onto your account, photos maybe of your baking or the recipes that you've been using, for example, if for your skill. Once you've completed the required time, what you need to acquire is an assessor report. So in other words, a short report written by an adult, not a family member, where they explain, or they confirm rather, that you have done the activity for the required period of time. And then there's the expedition section. So as I say, this is probably the section that most of you will perhaps be familiar with, or you'll have heard things from older students about and so on, where you in a group plan, train for and complete an adventurous journey as part of a team. That's really important. It is a team activity. And for bronze level, the duration of the expedition is 2 days and 1 overnight. And during the 2 days, you should be out, not necessarily walking all this time, but out in the area for at least 6 hours. Okay. So you would be in a group, what we call a walking group of 6 or 7 students. And we'll talk a bit more later on once people have signed up about how that is arranged, but you will be with friends. There will be an afternoon training session in May at some point, and then there will be a final preparation day the weekend before the expedition. That's so that we know, and the people running the expedition know, that you have been given all the requirements, all the information, all the skills, all the technical information to enable you to take part in the expedition. So we know, for example, we can confirm you know a bit about map reading, you know how to put your tent up, you know how to cook on a gas Trangia stove, etc. And so that expedition will be a 2-day overnight, one night at the very end of June or the beginning of July. It's actually during school time, so it's 2 days out of school as well. And that will be in the Peak District in the Bakewell area. So as I say, before you actually do the expedition, the 2 days overnight, you have to do some training and some preparation. That's the opportunity for you and your group to learn all the skills that you will need. Those sessions are compulsory. Once we've published the dates, we expect you to attend on the days that you have been allocated. And we expect you in these cases, because you will be learning new skills or perhaps developing skills that you may have acquired before, perhaps if you've done some camping or map reading maybe at explorers or cadets or whatever, but we need you to pay as much attention as you would in the classroom. Hopefully though, it's a bit more fun, it's a bit more practical, you're outside for a bit of the time, and as I say, you learn those skills so that you can then use them, show that you're competent during the expedition. You'll be fully briefed about what the expedition is all about, what you need to prepare. You'll learn more about using an OS map. You will be helped about what to bring, what to carry, what to pack for your expedition. You'll be encouraged to help read the map, and you'll be told a lot more about things like food, types of sleeping bags to bring, that type of thing. So that will all be during the preparation day and session in May as well. So if we're happy at the end of the training day in May and the weekend day at the end of June, if we're happy that we think you can work competently as a group when remotely supervised, and what that means is that there will not be an adult with you. You will meet up with adults on checkpoints from time to time during the 2 days. If we're happy that we're confident that you can do that, then you take part in what we call the assessment expedition. And as I say, that's in June or July. 2 days, one night overnight at a campsite. And the key thing is you need to be self-sufficient. You must carry everything that you need for those 2 days. You need to carry your shelter, which is a tent. You need to carry a method of cooking your food. It's a gas Trangia stove. You need to carry all your food, any emergency items and so on. There's water available at the campsite, and we do obviously have sort of contingency plans, but the idea is that you don't visit a shop to buy your tea, you don't get somebody to bring you extra clothes that evening, you carry everything yourself. So there's quite a skill involved in that because you need to be carrying everything, so you don't want to be bringing too much. Tent, by the way, that's split between a number of you, and the Trangia as well, so it's a group activity. You share some of these group items. A little bit at this point, a word about phones. So we ask that you don't use your phones at all on the training day and the training weekend, apart from perhaps to contact home at the end of the day. During the assessment expedition, you can have your phones with you, but we ask that they are switched off and packed away. We'll probably supervise that. Only to be used in an emergency. And why do we ask you that? Well, the idea is the expedition is self-sufficient, so you need to be able to cope without contacting the outside world. That's your challenge. It's not a punishment, it's a challenge for you. And in addition, you do have, of course, in the case of an emergency, you do have your phone there just in case. But we do request that you don't use that. And if we ask you more than once or twice to put your phone away, it might well be that we say, actually, you haven't met the requirements of the expedition yet. You might need to do another one in the future before you pass that section. But I'm sure everyone who signs up knows what they're letting themselves in for. They're going to try and be phone free for a couple of days. Group walking, I think, on a silver expedition a couple of years ago. The kit that you require, so there'll be a full kit list published on Firefly, and by the time of the weekend training day in June, you should have all those items. The key things really to say at this point, you will need walking boots, and those are boots with ankle support, not walking shoes, which are just like kind of like slightly better trainers, but we do ask you to have boots. A waterproof jacket, which has what we call taped seams and made out of a sort of a Gore-Tex type fabric. In other words, it's a bit more waterproof than just like a Pacamac, for example. Some waterproof trousers, which can be fairly basic over trousers at this stage, and a sleeping bag. You will be camping in the summer, so hopefully it won't be too cold, so the sleeping bag doesn't need to be too expensive or too thick or too bulky to carry. Most students borrow a rucksack from us. We have enough to lend to you, and tents and Trangia stoves are also provided by school. Where can you buy things like walking boots, sleeping bags? Places like Decathlon, Go Outdoors, Mountain Warehouse, Cotswold. Sometimes Aldi have special offers on, Amazon. You don't need to be spending a lot of money on expensive kit. Ask around, see if you can borrow items if necessary. Contact school if you are struggling to find things or you're not sure about what to get. We can give you some advice. We do have some kit we can lend out. The dates. So the introductory training session will be during an afternoon at school, which will continue until maybe 5 o'clock after school. That will be in May of next year. The camping expedition will be in 2 days, over 2 days, either Monday 29th of June till Tuesday the 30th of June, or Wednesday the 1st until Thursday the 2nd of July. We sometimes split the groups into 2 cohorts, as we call them, just so that we don't have quite so many students out at one time. So if you're interested, this is what you need to do. You need to look at the Firefly page, and I will send you a link to that as well as this PowerPoint. I want you to go to the sign up page where you click on the link and it asks you why you want to do the award, what skills and qualities you think you have that might make you a good candidate. Any ideas that you have for your skill, your volunteering and physical section. If you don't have any ideas yet, or you'd like some help with ideas, you can say that on the form at that point. And start planning or even taking part in those activities. So for example, if you're keen to get going and you've identified a volunteering activity, start it. Okay, it's a good thing to do anyway. A lot of students will be carrying on with a physical activity, but again, if you're not doing anything like that so far and you've identified something, get started with it. And then as soon as you've paid the deposit has been paid, the first instalment of £100, then you will get your login details and you can record what you're doing. We offer the Silver Award in Year 10 and the Gold Award in Year 12. And if you pass your gold, if you acquire that, you get a trip, if you would like, to Buckingham Palace Gardens to receive your award at that point. That's something in the sixth form. There's further information there on the DofE website or on the School Firefly page. I've noted there the total cost for this year. I know it's expensive, we do appreciate that. The accompanying letter gives a breakdown of where that money goes, why we have to charge so much. So yes, that's for your information and for your parents as well. Right, I hope that's been useful. You can contact myself or Mrs. Coffey if you'd like more information, and hopefully we'll get a lot of people signing up. If not, then I wish you well for the rest of your Year 9, and I'll see you soon.